Hello, friends. Welcome to the show. I haven't done an episode in quite a while because I was thinking about how I could make this podcast a little bit more dynamic and interesting for you guys. There will be a new arrangement to the show which I will talk about more later. On this episode of the podcast, I talked to Yiong. You might have heard of him. He's one half of the Kai brothers on episode 2 of the podcast. Me and Yiong have decided to record a podcast together every Monday and hopefully have it live to you guys on Tuesdays. So it will just not be me hosting the podcast from now on, but Yiong will be sitting down with me. And I'm extremely excited about this new arrangement that we have going. We will still be looking to having guests onto the show, but there will be this new element of just me and Yiong sitting down and talking to each other about issues that we are interested in. This episode we talk about David Goggins running a 238-mile marathon, and also about mental health awareness because it's Mental Health Awareness Month. A little bit about the 2020 presidential election as well, and finished off with talking about MMA. Also, again, if you enjoy this podcast and want us to continue doing what we do, please introduce this podcast to your friends and family members, or just click the follow button on Spotify. Alright, I think that's it for today's intro. So please give a very warm welcome to my new co-host and very dear friend, Yiong. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Boom! Alright. So today we have Yiong here, but we are gonna be trying to do this podcast every Monday, right?
Yeah, Mondays.
Yeah, let's see how this goes. We actually recorded one with your brother last week, but then my dumbass forgot to clear space on my laptop and then we lost the entire 1 hour of podcast.
Shit happens, bro.
Yeah, so today we will try to touch on some stuff that we were talking about last week, but at the same time, life goes on, we talk about other stuff as well. David Goggins did a 240-mile run.
Yes.
I checked. Up to now, till date, he's the second person that finished the Moab 240. So it's a 238-mile run. I checked, it's equivalent to about 10 full marathons lah. And you do it at one shot, and it's held in Utah. So I think now it's about winter there. So it's 10 full marathons in the cold.
And you have a specific timing to complete it, I think.
But how long is it?
5 days maybe.
Oh,
or
shit.
Might be shorter, I'm not sure.
Okay,
Might have to check it.
They started on the 9th of October, so right now there it's the 11th. I checked just now while in the toilet before we started the podcast, right? Right now only 3 people have finished.
Dude, Goggins came in second, and you say it with a fucked up foot.
Yeah, he has a screwed up foot, right? And he still came in second. Total this year I think it's 197 people running.
I wonder who beat Goggins.
I don't know. Actually,
I think it's a female, if I'm not right.
Yeah. It's Michelle Gracia or Bracia. I can't remember the name. I haven't
checked her out, but
she must be one tough ass lady.
Beat Goggins,
I don't care.
She's harder than hard. Yeah. She stayed harder than hard.
She stayed harder than hard and she's a girl. She stayed wet, bro.
Women can do amazing things too.
But I can't even imagine how do you run 10 full marathons at one go.
I've always thought of doing a marathon, but I haven't even run 10k before.
Yeah, actually over the circuit breaker period, right, when I was going on the longest runs I went for 10 or 12 kilometers. I think 12 kilometers, right? I was thinking, maybe by the end of the year, maybe I should try to, aim to finish a full marathon. Nope. Now I'm bitching about running 3 km a day already.
Oh yeah, so you were doing the 3 km a day. Today is day 28. 27. Tomorrow is day 28. So I have 3 more days to go. But I haven't ran today's one. So after this podcast, I need to go and run my 3 km. Oh, that's sick.
Yeah, that's why I'm not drinking any alcohol now. I'm not drinking any alcohol.
You should run drunk, bro.
No. I just want to get this over and done with already.
3 km a day. So during the COVID lockdown, I was starting to run more because of Kai Xiong. Then he actually pushed me to run. So that's the first time I ever run 6 km by myself without stopping. Yeah. Then after subsequently, I did 5 km. So 5 km was the minimum.
Yeah, I think if you don't really run right, the first 2 km you feel it's alright. After that, the third, fourth, fifth kilometer it starts to hit you really pretty hard.
Yeah, it's usually the last 2 km for me. So I had this problem where I didn't have proper shoes, so my shoes were damn old. And then I ran 3 days in a row. Then my feet got fucked up for 1 whole week.
Oh, you had the goggings feet
I got fucked up feet. So I was blaming the shoes, and then just nice they had a sale and I got a pair and then everything was okay. So guess I'm not that hard.
Yeah, don't worry. We take Goggins as inspiration and we aim to be just like, I think 10% of him is considered very courageous already.
He's inhuman. I mean, he tells people not to do what he do, cause people will die. So you know how Goggins actually, he beat the pull-up record, right?
The world record, is it?
Yeah, so he did 4,203 pull-ups in 24 hours. And so the way he did it was he paced it at, he need to do X amount of reps every minute to actually clock and beat the current record. And what he had on replay was actually, what I heard from Joe was actually, he was replaying Apollo in Rocky 2, knocking down Rocky. And then Apollo telling Rocky to stay down, but Rocky just stood up and shook his head. So he just replayed that scene over and over and over until he beat the record. Insane.
Okay, what do you think the temperature is at during the Moab in Utah right now?
You saying it's winter? I say it's -5 degrees.
Okay, no, it's not that bad. Apparently now it's about 5. Can you imagine running a full marathon in 5 degrees?
Dry weather.
Yeah. But that's one good thing. I don't think you need that much water. But I rather drink. Would you rather do a full marathon in blistering heat or blistering cold?
Blistering cold. Because during COVID, my brother was pushing me to run at the 1 p.m. sun. So we kind of get used to the heat.
That's true. No, but then there's running only at 5K, for 5K.
Okay, the 5K. I cannot imagine running a full marathon. I think Kai Xiong will be the first to do it out of 3 of us.
I think he could do it pretty easy lah. Pretty easy. But yeah, I think if I ever had one major goal by, it takes a couple of steps together is to run a full marathon. Maybe by the time I'm 40 or some shit.
I thought you had a friend do it in 1 week's notice.
Yeah, I have a friend that signed up for Stand Chart, I think like a month or 2 before Stand Chart, right? And he did not train at all. Like his longest distance he ever ran was 10 kilometers.
And he did it on a dare?
No, I think one of his friends in hall just decided, hey, do you want to go for full marathon? He's like, yeah, sure, let's go. Then after he signed up, and it's not cheap. I think it's like $100 or $200 to sign up because you need to pay for the shirt and then the facilities and then they close out the roads and shit. And he finished it. I don't know how he finished it. I don't even care whether he walked the entire thing, but you can't lah but if you were to walk the entire thing, you run out of time. So he definitely did run for at least half of it. By the time he was done, right, he could not even get out of his bed because his knees were stuck at a 90-degree angle. Like, I think because his hamstrings just really tense up to a point where they can't stretch straight anymore. So he actually had to use like crutches to move like the next day.
Where did you get the crutches?
I think they have it in hall or something.
Stand by.
Ridiculous.
For some idiot who runs a marathon on a month's notice.
Yeah. But super props to him, man. Like, can you imagine like 1 week before the marathon, right? You think to yourself, hey shit, this time next week I'm gonna be in the depths of despair running a 42 km marathon, right? And then you just say to myself, nah, I'm not gonna train for that shit. I'm just gonna sit here. I'm gonna tackle it like head on next week.
Wing it. But really kudos to him.
Yeah.
He showed up and he got shit done.
Really kudos. Like, that takes some serious mental strength.
And balls.
Yeah, okay. So, I think we're gonna just keep talking about this type of shit every Monday. Actually, quite interesting. That I was telling you today, like whenever we see something interesting, right, we need to send it to each other now, so that on Monday, right, we can remember to talk about this kind of stuff. And that's probably one good thing, right, that came out from us recording last week, but then had nothing to show for it, is that we decided, oh shit, actually we should do a weekly podcast, because you know what? I can't get a new guest onto the show every week. I realized that it's just not possible. Not many people want to do a podcast or want to come to a podcast that nobody is listening to lah.
Not yet. You never know, man.
I don't really care. I just going to do this and try to, for the little people that are listening, trying to make the best podcast for you guys and talk about things that actually interest me. People always ask me like, what do you want to talk about in a podcast? You want to talk about like scandalous stuff in Singapore. I say like things about all the social influences like this cancel culture bullshit. I was like, nah, that's not really what I'm interested in.
Just some dude sitting together and shooting shit.
Yeah, talk about real life stuff that actually real life people care about. Okay. Anyway. Oh yeah, and talking about that, since I started the podcast, actually we started to realize that there are a lot more podcasts in Singapore than we actually know of.
You were telling me about Yala Bat and actually a lot of people are doing podcasts now. So
yeah, everybody is like, and it's beautiful. Like a lot of people are starting their own podcasts like this, and I think it's because now people are starting to realize that it's podcast number one is inexpensive. Number two, you can say whatever the fuck you want. Like there's no censorship or company that is controlling you and saying, oh, you can say this, you can't say that.
I guess it depends whose podcast it is.
Yeah, no, if your podcast is owned by like
yourself.
It's like if it's done by the Straits Times or CNA or even Mothership is doing podcasts now, then of course they have to stay away from certain stuff. Yeah, but for us, at least we can talk about the real issues and just keep it real, yeah.
And our own point of view.
Yeah, and this is ours, right?
Yeah,
I think that's the most beautiful thing. And people keep saying like, do you think there will be too many podcasts? I said, nah, there's plenty of room.
I mean, people will listen to whoever they want to listen to. So yeah, if people like us, then I guess they can just listen to us.
Yeah, and then also some people say like, I think your podcast is too long. Like first few episodes, it was like an hour, about 50 over minutes, right?
The original one we recorded was 2 hours, dude.
Yeah, the first ever one we did was 2 hours. And then, 2 hours. I don't think Singaporeans are ready for 2 hours.
No, MRT travel is like 40 minutes max for anyone.
Yeah. Actually, that's why I tell people like, you don't have to listen to a podcast, right? Like sit down at your dining table and on the podcast and actually pay attention to it. You can listen to a podcast like us, right? We traveling to work, doing our house chores. In fact, you don't even need to listen. Sometimes you just play in the background instead of playing music, right? It also sounds like you can't listen to music the whole day, right? You play podcast in the background. At least when you want to pay attention, you learn something. We just keep doing it and hopefully we get better at it. Because also, like for you, I think like sometimes you also feel like it's weird to have a mic in front of you, right?
Yeah. So I'm not so used to it yet. So
yeah, same here.
It's just an art form, I guess.
Yeah, and you realize that the really, really good podcasters out there, they put in a lot of effort. It's not such a simple thing to do.
It's actually not just talking. So I still have to like pause, make sure like we don't interrupt each other. That's what I feel.
Yeah, for sure. If not, you'll kill the listeners' ears. But also, if we want to keep it real, we don't want it to become like some kind of like staged shit.
Yeah. So everything is not scripted, but it's just shoot shit.
We really don't have any discussion about what exactly we are going to say. It's just we think it, we say it, hopefully it flies. Alright. I got a couple of topics that I want to talk about. The first one that I got down here, I sent you this was since it's Mental Health Awareness Week. We talked about this on the podcast last week, but the podcast that never got posted. So let's touch on it again. But since then, actually PM Lee has came out and said he's having a task force put together with all the ministers to fight mental illness during this point of the pandemic, because I think he realizes that a lot of people are going through a tough time during this pandemic and need some kind of psychological help. Right? Yeah,
so people probably worry about work, especially those that get retrenched. Then the economy maybe is not doing so well. But do you think like Singapore is starting to feel the full brunt of like the economy going bad?
I think we are slowly seeing it, but as we talked about the previous podcast, right? About it on the previous podcast, we don't see it because a lot of the people that are getting laid off are not PRs or Singaporeans.
Oh yeah, okay, I remember. Yeah,
right.
So like the foreigners are getting laid off first compared to Singaporeans.
So I don't know how long the government can continue to support Singaporeans, but it has to come to a tipping point where the government says, okay, we can't do this anymore, lah, right?
But I think the government, Singapore government is not bad, lah. I mean, they don't like just leave us to die, you know what I mean? They extend all the grants here and there and here and there.
The most important thing, the government must have money, lah. If you look at like the other countries, like in Thailand, right, they stopped giving the older people, like the senior citizens of Thailand, like every month or every year they get a payoff from the government.
Like allowance from support allowance.
Yes, so recently for like this year they said no, the government does not have enough money, so they're not gonna give the senior citizens this amount of support, which Singapore, like, we don't hear that from our government. Like, in fact, anything more, they're actually giving more to the people now.
It's true.
Right?
Yeah.
And but also then again, on the other side of people like saying like, oh shit, but the government can do so much more because we do not know like how much savings
Our
we
reserve
have.
actually have.
Yeah, which I think ultimately at the end of the day, right, it's just a matter of time they have to declare it. Especially when our generation becomes become 30, 40 plus and we are the ones that have the say, I guess have the biggest voice when it comes to elections, because 40, 50 years old is when you kind of are mature enough.
And then you are the one paying taxes, you want to know where your money goes, kind of thing.
Then we can crank up the pressure onto the government, which is, I'm pretty sure PAP has foreseen this, because this is something that we want more transparency in our government. In the world, like there's this movement towards having more transparency, having a lack of trust between the people and the government, right?
Yeah, that's true. Okay, enough about politics stuff.
I know, we got one more.
Mental health awareness.
Oh yeah, true. Let's go. Okay, so not just, I think losing jobs is one thing, but at the same time, I don't think it's healthy for people to just stay at home, work from home, not being able to do many things that they would normally do, such as travel.
I guess most humans are social creatures. So like just being at home in your room, especially work from home, you face the screen every day. But like in the office, you still get small interactions like, hey, want drink coffee? Or like, hey, smoke break. You know what I mean? But at home, you just on the screen. And then you're saying that Zoom meetings for school don't feel the same. Like half an hour, you want to get the fuck out of the meeting.
Yeah.
And I felt that too in the last semester of mine. So like, Zoom lessons was so hard to pay attention to because you can just be lying on the bed. So I guess productivity will take a hit as well. So, and then you don't get social interaction with people. You cannot read people's body language or this kind of thing.
We humans now can appreciate social contact. Like, we took it for granted last time, right?
That's true. So we had apps like House Party and all this kind of thing to try to keep, but it didn't last. I mean, like as the things opened up, we get to meet less than five people, and we would definitely want to come out.
Yeah, that's the main reason why like most of us want the government to extend from 5 or increase the number of people that can go out, because we have this longing for social interaction, like physical social interaction, not just behind a screen. I think that's what a lot of people realize. Like technology can replace it to a certain extent, but it can't replace it 100% as of yet. Right?
Exactly. Like when you see someone, you can read their body language, the way they talk to you, the way they give you a pet, you know what I mean? Like physical touch.
I'll be hard pressed to think what are the suicide rates during this pandemic period. I imagine it would have gone up quite tremendously
In Singapore?
Globally, but yeah, if we focus into Singapore, I imagine it would have gone up as well. Has to be, right? If we save lives on the front of not losing people to coronavirus, but wonder what is the trade-off because of psychological health, like people's psychological health becoming worse, and then more people fall into depression, more people start to question what are they doing with their lives, feeling shitty about themselves, over something that is really not their fault. This coronavirus thing is something that we could have never prepared for. So all these people, and not everybody is able to, dig themselves out. Sometimes when you're feeling down, last time you can go out meet your friends, you can travel, just escape from all your problems. Now, pretty much you're locked in
with you and yourself.
Yeah. And then pretty sure there are a lot more people that are hurting themselves, which is a sad thing.
So I don't really know how is it like. I mean, like you have days when you're down, but I guess in cases where people have depression, it's a lot worse. If they feel like their world is collapsing, and then I always think that why these people don't reach out. Yeah, so we don't know what people go through. So I have been telling myself try to be nicer to people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, sometimes we just like shoot nasty shit about some people. Like we just talk about. Then sometimes now I realize like I actually have to think about what other people are going through and like don't give a fuck about what other people are doing and kind of thing.
Try and imagine like that guy is really having like a bad day lah. So maybe that's why he acts like that. Maybe he did what he did, and then like pang chance a bit lah. Imagine. No point being so angry also. Like don't let another guy spoil your day. Like I always tell myself this: if I'm going through something that makes me feel like shit, right, and then it's not within my control, right, I should just let it go lah.
Yeah, so I have come to this realization where I realize you get upset at people when they don't meet your expectations. You know what I mean? So like, but he is doing what he wants to do or she wants to do, and if he doesn't meet your expectations, that is just you causing yourself to be upset. You know what I mean? From that perspective. So like, I'm not saying like don't expect things from people. It's just that I'm trying to give less fucks.
Yeah. Oh, and this is a nice segue, right, to all those people that feel very pissed off about like during this period, it's like the 2020 presidential election in the US, right? And I notice a lot of people get very angry over like what Trump says or what he does. Then I always think to myself like, why you want to get so worked up? Honestly, I treat it like some kind of comedy show. Like I think that's the best way to look at it.
Free reality TV.
Yeah, I was telling you this you and Yiong last week. I think the Americans voting for President Trump, right, is the biggest social experiment that the Americans have conducted. Like they were so sick and tired of having the typical politician voted as a president, because at the end of the day they realized that these politicians, they just say the politically correct thing, but they do another thing, like behind closed doors. They wanted to vote in somebody that was like raw, like they knew what he's saying. Like if Trump says something, right, granted he lies a lot, right, but it's so absurd, right, that everybody knows that he's lying. But it's like a joke, right? And so they voted for him in, and I think the social experiment has failed lah.
I don't know enough about America to like comment, but what I feel is like whatever news we are receiving about Trump, right, is always taken out of context. Like you don't know whether what he's really doing, and you're not living in their country. You don't know what's going on. So like whatever you see in the media is Trump says inject bleach, but it might have been taken out of context during the press. So I'm not sure. I don't follow fully. Yeah, so that's what social media and reporting is nowadays. Like it's whatever to their benefit. You know what I mean? It might not be unbiased. And
he's also like the first president that had to go through this wave of crazy media from people using Instagram to Twitter. Like Barack Obama, TikTok, but okay lah, Trump is not on TikTok. But maybe the next president, Joe Biden, has to be on TikTok, Trump has to be on TikTok. I have no idea, but like if you look back, Obama never had to use Twitter that much because not many people are using Twitter. Obama didn't have to use Instagram or Facebook when he got elected. Even during his first term, it wasn't that big. Maybe during the second term, it started to grow. But Trump is full on now. Like every American has a social media account. So that's his first way of reaching.
And it's free. Voters. Yeah, it's free.
Yeah, and if you follow him on Twitter, it's ridiculous. Like, can you imagine how much time he's spending on Twitter?
Do you think it's really him? Or it's like someone... I mean, like, do you think the US president spends 10 hours on his phone going through Twitter, dude?
Honestly, I really think he does, because right, he sees journalists and people and these journalists with Twitter accounts or journalists with Instagram accounts, right, and he knows them by name. And then he can pick out specific tweets that this journalist says. So he has to be paying attention, right? If it's somebody else behind the phone, he wouldn't be able to know.
So he's in his limo in the Air Force One going, oh, what shall I tweet today?
Yeah, and can you imagine that? I can't believe like that is his main priority. Like there's so much shit going on in the US, right? Like people dying from the coronavirus and shit. But no, he decided that I think Twitter more important lah. My timeline more important.
Yeah, so talking about Twitter and stuff, I see so many people are so angry on Facebook. Just look at the mothership comments and all. It's all like, I don't know why they have to like voice it out. I mean, and not make a change. You think like voicing out on social media is gonna, what do you think?
I think is this kind of like herd mentality. That means they know if they voice it out in this way, right? Most people are gonna agree. Like, because everybody in Singapore, most of us would imagine that whatever Trump is saying is totally ridiculous lah. Like,
No, like not about Trump, like even in our own society, like mothership post this fella does something today, or he didn't put on his mask properly, then like the lady who stopped the lift, like for the delivery rider, and then so much hate she's getting and everything. Yeah, so I feel like people are so angry online, and they feel like they have the power to be angry online.
But I think it's because the way these social media platforms work, right, is the most clickbaity comment will make it to the top. And so if you have 10, 20 clickbaity comments and they all make it to the top, it gives you this fake impression that everybody thinks like this 10 to 20 people. When in actual fact, right, a lot of people don't really give a shit. Like me, I really don't care about this kind of small little things. I just like look at it and like, oh, that's a funny event.
So I read the negative comments as entertainment, but the small part of me feels sad that there's so many angry people out there.
I think a lot of this anger just comes from like people, as we already said, a lot of people are not in a good place mentally. Right? Like there will always be people not in good places mentally. But these people, I think they're just okay, don't hate me on this, but a lot of these people are just losers. Right?
Okay, yeah, that's being blunt. Like
They are just losers. Like, come on, just lead your own life. Like, I'm not saying don't care about other people next to you, but also don't hate that much. Like, why do you have to throw all that hate? It's not gonna.
yeah, so that's what I'm trying to do. Like, as a person myself, I'm trying to like reduce my hate or shit that I throw on people.
Like, whatever good has ever come out of people hating on other things, like, okay, maybe like it fits into this cancel culture where we encourage good behavior from,
like, you just join in and like, hey, this fucker.
Yeah. But at the same time, I think you got to a point where it's too much already.
Yeah, I feel it. That's why I've been making small changes. Notes, mental notes.
Last time when there was this like social media wave, right? People like, hey, good. Now, whenever there's something negative, right, you can post it online and then these people can't get away with it. But now it's like, it's elevated to a point where
they have to find a negative thing to post.
Yeah, even if it's not negative, right, it becomes negative. Like, they pick on the smallest little things that were okay last time. Like, it was perfectly fine last time, right?
And then everybody else will feel the negativity.
Yeah. And it's a bit too toxic already. That's why nowadays I try to, I already told you, I try to delete Instagram or not use Instagram on my phone, because that's the primary source of social media I use lah. And if I use it and I only look at like Insta stories that I know have a positive impact on my life, like for example David Goggins, he goes to exercise when he works out. Wow, shit! Now I feel damn inspired to go and work out lah. I don't follow people that make me feel like shit lah.
No, that's true.
Oh, with one exception.
I know who you gonna talk about.
Yeah, you know, right?
Go here.
Yeah. So if you are listening to this, right, and you do not follow the Prince of Johor, do follow him on Instagram to see how ridiculous his life is, because his whole life is about posting about how much money he has. But it doesn't make me feel like shit, because I know I will never be able to reach that, right? And I'm not sad about it, because his life is too ridiculous. Even if I had that much money, right, that's not how I'm gonna spend my money. So it's just funny to see how he spends all his people's money, right? And he's not afraid to show it, you know, like when Naomi Neo posted a photo of her Lamborghini, right, everybody gave her shit.
Yeah, that's true.
But the Prince of Johor, right, is immune from this.
And his people love him for it.
And his people love him. So that's the funniest Instagram account you can follow, right? He's like the Dan Bilzerian of
Southeast Asia.
Of Southeast Asia. Give him a follow. And honestly, he's not a bad guy lah. Like, you can see, I feel like he, in certain areas, he's also quite, I wouldn't say inspiring, but quite interesting. Like, he lost a lot of weight the last 1 or 2 years or so, because he works out every day now. So he was like damn fat last time. And I don't blame him lah. He has so much money, he can do whatever the fuck he wants.
Yeah, that's what haters will say. He got money, what?
Yeah.
He can exercise. He
Correct.
got time.
But actually, he has so much money, but he decided that he wanted to make a change to his lifestyle, maybe because he saw that it's not sustainable anymore. Lah. So actually that's one like good thing I've got out of following him. Like, even if you are that rich, even if you are that wealthy, you still find time to go and exercise or get shit done every day.
About the negativity online, I guess it's always about how you see in perspective. Like, the perspective of things. Like, social media has much negative, then you don't get to see the positive stuff because all the negative stuff get bumped to the top.
Yeah, for sure. And how would the young people coming up see all these things and put it into perspective? Like, we know, because I think we have reached a certain age that now we can draw a line and say, okay, this is the shit that I don't need in my life, I'm not going to listen to it. But if you're a young person, right, and then you're growing up and this is the culture that you are growing up in, like, can you imagine the people now in secondary school? Social media has been around for maybe 10 years, right? So the people in secondary school, JC, coming into uni, they can't really remember a time that they didn't have a Instagram account, they didn't have a Twitter account. And for a lot of these people, they don't have capital in terms of money, but what they are trying to build is social capital, which is like the followers they have, right? And that's like probably the most important thing to them.
Yeah, because the rush they get when they post a story or they post a post, oh fuck, so many people look at me.
Yeah.
Like, we didn't have that back in our time. Like, the shit we done in school, I mean, can you imagine if we had that online?
Yeah, I think it was very, very much easier to be ourselves back then.
That's true. Like, you don't have to worry. I mean, like, you do things with lesser consequence.
Yeah. You don't question your identity. Like, you just be you.
Yeah.
No, people are not happy with it, then they are not your friend lah. But the people that vibe with you, like, then
The bunch of us.
Yeah, like a bunch of, like, our group, right? Like, I don't know if we would have been the same group if we had social media that early, but because we were genuinely ourselves, we genuinely had a shit ton of fun in secondary school.
We threw people in the sink. I mean, like, our friends, not other people, our friends.
And a lot of other stuff that we can't really talk about. But it was easier to be ourselves. And then now, as we grow up, we realize that, oh shit, actually that was the true me, right? Like, I want to have some sort of resemblance to that. Like, you know, when your dad, I'm sure most of our parents go, wow, you know, last time, that time, really damn fun. The good old days.
Yeah, really, the good old days.
Yeah, I think they reminisce that because they feel like at that point in time, they were themselves. Like, they could, and physically and they had less worry. Physically, they were their best. They had less worries about the world.
We're starting to sound damn old, bro.
Yeah, but that's the truth, right? If you think back, actually, that is, in perspective, that is what it is. What? Okay. Enough of this. So I think that's how do we get here? Spinning from mental health. Okay, yeah. So if you are going through a tough time, don't beat yourself up. I think you should, as you said, reach out to people that you know. Yeah, whoever. Just talk it out.
Even strangers. I mean, like, there are helplines, and I think if you are worried about people judging you, you should actually speak to a stranger if you really need help. Like,
true.
You don't know the person.
I think a lot of us like worry about like what people think, like the public's view on you is like one of the top few things that you always think about as being important. And I think we as a society need to place less emphasis on that so that people can just lead their own fucking lives and be themselves lah.
Yeah. So don't worry about so much about what's going on. Just focus on you. Yeah.
Okay, I think now we're going to transit. Now we're going to talk about UFC. So if you don't want to listen to this part of the podcast because we're going to talk about MMA and you're not an MMA fan, I'm giving you warning first.
You can skip.
Yeah.
But thanks for listening if you made it so far.
Yeah. If you're dropping off, thank you for those listeners that actually give a shit about MMA. Here we go. I think there's nothing else to talk about but those two knockouts that happened over the weekend.
I only noticed the one with the spinning kick.
By
what's his name? Dude, I cannot remember his name. Yeah, wow, it was insane. I think it's one of the best.
Because it was a knockout by two people that we didn't know about.
I mean, because it's fight night, it's not as popular as a pay-per-view card or anything, but those were violent as fuck.
Yeah. Okay, so it's the two fighters' names were Impa Kasangane. So that's the guy that got knocked out with the first spinning kick. The one where he caught the guy's kick and then the guy spin around and give a spinning heel kick.
Action movie shit, bro.
That was some crazy ninja shit right there lah.
And these guys are not small. They're huge. They're jacked.
Knockout of the year for sure. Like contenders for knockout of the year.
One of the knockout of all best knockouts of all time.
It reminded me of like the Smooth Benson Henderson one, kick off the cage against Anthony Pettis.
Okay, so like the top knockouts when I come think about it, it's only that one. Silva's front kick.
The toe.
The front kick to Vitor. And yeah, that's about it.
No, you're forgetting one major one, and that is Francis on Overeem.
Okay, that's the uppercut for years.
Yeah.
Uppercut for days.
And for sure, Masvidal on Ben Askren.
Okay.
That's the top 5. I think easy. That's a pretty solid top 5 we got there. So it was the kick that just happened over the weekend.
I think that's iconic. The Silva front kick, that's iconic.
Yeah. Silva front kick because
it was a tension. There was a tension between them because Brazilians were fighting Brazilians. So that was a very bad blood. Yeah. So that was very iconic for me.
Yeah. And the stakes were super high. And that's what added to it. And then not many people has ever seen a knockout like that. Like to this day, right, not many people see knocks out like that. Because you have to be able to generate a certain amount of power also.
Yeah. And it was just and he was still, you know what I mean? Like Silva was still and then he just went pop. Then he dropped. Damn, son.
I don't even think he expected to knock him out with that.
Well, he kicked him in the face, so
yeah, but you never. I don't think he expected. I think he expected to like stun him.
No, but Silva has knocked people out with jabs, bro.
True.
Like going backwards and he jab. I think the way he does it is he knows the body and like distance management and movement exactly like Easy.
Okay.
Yeah, so they are shadows of himself.
I need to find that name of. Oh yes, okay. So the guy that knocked Impa out is Joaquin Buckley. Yeah. So this guy, we gotta keep an eye on him lah.
Yeah, I know he was so excited when Dana walked up to him. I saw that video. I don't know if
even Dana must have been like,
holy shit! Can you imagine if Joe was calling the car?
Oh shit! Joe was so hyped that he had to post on Instagram right after that.
Three times about him.
But Impa's a real man. He posted and said like it was an honor to be in the ring with Joaquin and said, you know, all the best to Joaquin. Like you can't really say anything else. Like most people would just shut the fuck up. Like after taking a knockout like that, you feel embarrassed. But this guy really meant out and actually took it lah.
I mean, okay lah. There was no bad blood between them, so.
And also shout out to Moraes, Sandhagen against Marlin.
It was another kick, right?
It was also a spinning heel kick, but okay, this was
less violent.
It took off in any other event, right? That would be knockout of the night.
Okay.
By far.
But sorry, it was surpassed by the spinning one.
One of the better fight night cards lah. Because you had Barbosa on the co-main.
Sadly, I missed it though. I was asleep.
Barbosa did well. Barbosa did well. Like he's coming back, but I think this because he went down a weight class. He was at light for Pito, and he was struggling to. Like you don't hear this often, but he was struggling to.
And he's
to meet the weight. Like he had to eat more to meet the weight.
Oh, he was underweight.
He was underweight. Like you don't hear this from UFC fighters, right? He was underweight. So now he dropped the weight class to feather, and I think he's doing better.
Yeah, what's the upcoming fight? Oh, Ortega and Korean Zombie. Now that is some bad blood. That's this coming weekend, is it? Was it October 16th? If I'm not wrong. Yeah, so do you know about the bad blood between them?
No.
So they've been shooting shit online quite a while back, way before this COVID thing. And then, you know J Park is this famous K-pop fella. Yeah, so he hangs out with the Korean Zombie, and then I think they were in a club. Ortega actually slapped J Park. Yeah, bro. And then can you imagine slapping a big K-pop star?
But why did he slap J Park?
They had some big beef online. So like it was Ortega, Korean Zombie, and then J Park was included as well, and they were shooting shit at each other. I don't know what is unlike Ortega, but he slapped J Park, bro. Alright. It's like if you slap a member of BTS, you know what I mean? Yeah, you can imagine the shit you will get.
They are gods over there.
They are gods. Not only over there, bro. I think around the world.
Yeah, you don't want to mess with K-pop fans. Like I like to say shit, right? But some shit I just stay away from because I know it's not worth the
Not
repercussions.
worth. Yep. And
Yeah.
you don't really mean it. You just want to shoot shit and make fun.
I don't want to waste time dealing with these type of people, so I'm not going to say shit about K-pop, okay? But okay, so I got a fight card right in front of me. Got Brian Ortega, Korean Zombie, main event. Okay, the rest of the card I have not...
Yeah, that's the only one I want to watch. It's just Ortega and Korean Zombie because I know there's some bad blood.
Then the week after that, we have the big one. We have UFC 254, Khabib and Justin Gaethje.
Whittaker and Cannonier.
Those are two already like. You have Volkov and Walt Harris is a good fight. And you got RDA against Islam.
My birthday weekend, yo.
Oh yeah. Nice.
Very nice.
No, then it's on a Sunday, right? Then we can talk about it on the Monday. That's why
that's perfect. They unknowingly did it.
Yeah, that's why we want to do this show on Monday so that we can talk about like when it's fresh in our head, we can do the podcast.
You think Gaethje will violently stop Khabib?
I really have no clue on this one.
You see the damage he did to Tony Ferguson. I don't think anybody else could have sustained that damage and that cardio, that pace.
The thing is, if Khabib actually manages to take him down or push him up against the cage and exert
do what Khabib does
and does what Khabib does to Gaethje, which is a world-class wrestler that he doesn't even use the wrestling skills. We have not seen it in the UFC octagon, but prior to this, he was one of the best wrestlers in the US. If Khabib manages to control him like, as you say, what Khabib normally does, then I think I have to give it to Khabib.
I think Khabib will surprise and stand with him. Like what he did to Conor.
For the
until he cannot.
For the first 2 rounds. That's why against Conor he did it for the first 1.5 rounds.
And he clipped him with an overhand.
Yeah, and then I think he started to realize, what the fuck am I doing this? Like, I might as well just take this guy down and beat the shit out of him.
For these people, it's like a point to prove. You know how like John Jones always he studies his opponents so much that he actually emulate them. So like they were calling DC the king of the grind. And then what John Jones did is basically he outgrinded DC in the clinch. And he just destroyed DC at his own game. So yeah, I feel like some top class people like to do that. Like they break, like Goggin said, taking souls.
Yeah. No, and it came to a point where during the DC fight, DC knew he lost. He just wanted to take John Jones down. Yeah. Like one time, I remember that was like the first.
Did he?
He successfully took John Jones down like once or twice, but everybody knew like the match was a wrap. Okay, so I will give Khabib still the edge over Justin Gaethje simply because he's Khabib.
Greatest of all time.
He's on track to that. He's on track to being top 3.
Yeah,
he's on track.
Casual fans don't enjoy watching his fights. You know what I mean? Like he's not flashy. Like you don't get flashy stuff.
No, because people don't understand what it's like, right? For a guy to manhandle you.
Yeah, that's true. Especially when you cannot get up.
Yeah.
When someone is on you and you are helpless.
Like, you always think like if I'm on the ground and I have somebody like pinning me down, right, I can find some way to stand up. But with Khabib, it's a totally different story. Yeah. If you really try too hard to stand up, right, that's where you give up positions where he can choke you out.
Yep.
So yeah, I got Khabib as a little bit of a favorite on this one. Robert Whittaker and Cannonier.
I give it to Cannonier.
Yeah, I think most people give it to Cannonier now, even though Whittaker had.
But don't sleep on Whittaker.
Don't sleep on both of them. Yeah. Right, but I think who's that guy that just
Easy?
Yeah, Easy wanted Cannonier. Like if Cannonier won, Easy said.
So I think the winner of the fight will go for the title again, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, go against Easy.
Costa got nothing on Easy, dude. Eliminated.
Easy has a chance to clear out the division.
Easy John Jones.
No, but John Jones is going up, so it's not gonna happen anytime soon. Like he can't put on weight that
John Jones will clear the heavyweight division. Mark my words, bro.
I would agree with you, but
Ngannou. The outlier.
Yeah.
That one hit power.
I can't go against the Hawk, man.
I think, yeah, but you see, they say brains beat brawn, and I think John Jones has the very, very high fight IQ, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But Ngannou is not even bronze. Ngannou is nuclear fucking power. Boom! Nuclear power. It's like the whole match when you're watching, just like, Is it coming yet? Is it coming? You can't blink.
Yeah. I forgot who he fought. But he charged forward, bro. That dude, he didn't even see it coming.
And I think Ngannou now has found his sweet spot of like, he knows how to control his strength, and he's been working on his cardio. Yeah, he's been working on his cardio. Granted, his ground game is not as strong, but that's not a problem against John Jones, I think. Because I don't think John Jones will try to take him now. I don't think
But
so.
John Jones is quite a very high level wrestler as well.
Yeah, that's true, but I think John Jones will go in with the thought process of, you think you have nuclear power against me, I'm gonna
Exactly
right, because that's what the GOATs do. So he's not worried about the takedowns.
I think he'll clinch it up with him and then hurt him with his elbows, like his famous sharp elbows.
Step on your toes, make you think,
fuck him up,
what are you trying to do, mate? And then he will fuck you up, like in other ways that we probably have. Like, who was the ones that started using the shoulder shocks? Was it John Jones?
Yeah, so John Jones actually created a lot of strikes that people are using now, where calf kicks. He's the one that sort of invented calf kicks and the one that fully extend your knee and fuck shit up. And then shoulder strikes, unorthodox elbows. I think a lot of the strikes were kind of brought into the game by him.
A lot of his strikes are actually things that us shorties can't do, lah.
He has fight IQ on a different level. That's what I feel.
I think it's all that weed, bro. It makes him think in different ways.
Coke, bro, rich man drug.
That's what makes him so great. Like, people keep saying like, if he didn't do drugs, he won't be as good. If he didn't do weed, he won't be as good. But I think
even greater, bro.
No, but that's the thing. Like, we don't know what would he be like if he wasn't so loose.
He parties a lot.
Yeah,
and then,
but it's because he's loose. Like, there were a couple of fights before he stepped into the octagon. The night before he was partying, and it's because I think that keeps him loose. Like, he goes in with an open mind.
he said he actually does that so that he has something to blame. Yeah, he said that in an interview, so he has something to blame. But you think about it, you party and then you go kick some ass, and then you still win.
Yeah,
and you do it quite dominantly. So then he's actually a lot better now. So I think we'll see it. He's still in his prime. Like, we'll see a better him, especially in the heavyweights.
How old is John Jones right now?
37, maybe?
Let me look it up.
No.
32, 31? No, he's not.
No, it's not.
33.
Oh, he's 33 only. Yeah, bro. Prime.
He is in his, he's supposed to be in his physical and psychological prime.
Yeah. So, enough of all that Jones on white shit.
Question is, how is he gonna add weight to those legs?
He's been doing squats, deadlifts, I guess, but it ain't growing like some people.
He has, actually his family has genetics to put on leg mass. Yeah, because his brothers are in the NFL and his brothers are massive. Like 2 times bigger than him.
I guess we'll see lah. I really cannot wait for him to either fight Stipe or Ngannou. So.
They haven't announced, right? Like,
they're giving him time to put on some mass. Yeah. I don't think it will definitely affect his speed and cardio, but I think he'll work harder and actually clear the heavyweight division. Yeah,
we have to wait and see. So, and then the weekend after that, we have Uriah Hall, Anderson Silva.
Do you think Silva should have stopped?
That's what I want to say. I don't know how to feel about it. I want Silva to.
It will definitely be his last fight.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope he wins. I mean, he is undoubtedly top 5 of all time, and he can't. No matter what happens.
It won't erase that what he has done. I guess.
It's just that you kind of don't want to see a guy.
Yeah, you don't want to see one of your idols you grew up watching get hurt. You know what I mean?
If I'm not wrong, Anderson Silva is on like a 5 fight losing streak. Let me just double check that.
I remember when I saw his leg snapped.
Yeah, I mean that was the decline of Anderson
My
Silva.
heart broke, bro. I was screaming on the bus, bro.
I remember watching it on my television as well. I was like,
my heart broke.
It was the fight that you really wanted him to get back at Whiteman, because Whiteman was pretty much of a cunt. He was like the healer.
I guess, because Silva was the hero and then Whiteman will be the heavy man. He got the heavy and the evil wins this time.
Okay, so Silva has... Oh shit, the record is not good, boys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Out of the last 8 fights, Silva has only won 1.
Against?
Derek Bronson. Okay, Derek
Okay.
Bronson is decent. Okay, but he's in the
fight-
last 5 fights, he fought like really legends. Like he fought Michael Bisping, he
Yeah.
lost.
That was close fight, man. There was a
Decision.
weird knockout, but the bell saved Bisping. And then I know he fight DC, Easy.
Connor.
Oh, he fought Conan, yeah?
And he lost, yeah. So he lost majority of his fights to legends lah.
I mean, up and coming legends.
DC is a legend.
Yeah.
Easy is gonna be a legend. Michael Bisping he's like a second tier legend lah.
Yeah, he just talks a lot.
Yeah, he became a second tier legend when he won the belt. So I give it to him. He had a no contest with Nick Diaz.
That one's a exhibition fight, dude. Fuck that.
Actually, he won the decision, but tested positive for
Some kind of substance. I remember that one now.
I think testosterone. So
Dude, he's old. He needs it, man.
wait,
They should have a division just for like Vitor and then just let them take as much tests as they want.
wait. This is the weirdest shit. So Silva tested positive for testosterone, but that's not it. Diaz tested positive for marijuana.
weed. Yeah.
So it's like both sides fucked up.
No, but I don't get why athletes can't take marijuana though.
Yeah, I think now they're trying to legalize it, which I don't think marijuana gives you any kind of physical advantage, right? And it suppresses pain, and there are no real bad side effects.
I mean, like, just don't smoke it before the fight. You know, like directly before.
Yeah.
And it's not going to do you a lot of good if you smoke it before the fight.
So
You're not going to see that punch coming until it hits you.
yeah. So I hope Silva wins, because I think Uriah Hall, even if he loses, still
He's got one more.
yeah. So okay. So that's as far as we go. We go to 1st November. So on every Monday we'll be doing this, and probably we'll hit you guys with the podcast on Tuesday after we clean stuff up with the recording. And if you enjoy what you're listening to, I hope you do. If you don't, then I can't help you.
Fuck you, then.
Yeah, I can't help you, but yeah, we're just gonna keep doing this. Hopefully we keep getting better. If there's any stuff that you find that you want us to talk about, and we generally give a shit about, then we might talk about it on the show.
Just send it our way.
Yeah, I'll be trying to do short clips of interesting parts of the podcast and putting them on Instagram, because all you assholes, they are not prepared for long form content. This is one for you lah. So hopefully we can lure you in. Right?
I think most people that listens are our friends. So hi friends.
Hi friends. Yeah, but it will really help us a lot if you can refer our podcast to people that you think would enjoy the podcast. Some people would enjoy podcasts, it's just that they don't know it yet.
Yeah, that's true. I never knew until I watched my brother listening to podcasts like 2.5 hours, and now I listen to it over the radio. I mean, like, rather than listen to the radio, I listen to podcasts most of the time.
Yeah, so I think right now we have reached the stage of we are podcast connoisseurs.
Podcast callers, yes.
Like, now we listen to podcasts because and we know that there's a certain standard and levels to doing a podcast, right? And now we can appreciate what a fantastic job those top podcasts are doing.
Yeah, and we only strive to make ourselves better.
Yeah. Okay, so how long are we in now? We are about
Almost an hour.
Yeah, okay. So thank you people for listening. I hope you enjoyed it.
Okay.
And we out.
Bye, friends.
Bye guys.